He hit Ken Norton just like he do all his opponents. Caught him early. I admit he hits hard, but if a man can stay out of the way for 5 rounds, stick him, move, stay out of range, be in good shape, he'll retire George Foreman. This man depends on getting this man in the first 1 or 2 rounds. If he don't do that, he's frustrated. Stick him with left jabs and right crosses, tie him up and box him, and you'll retire him. I know this man is going to whoop George Foreman, and I'm going to whoop him of all places in Africa, in the Congo, where the Lumumba boys are.
Ali, now that you have your cool about you and you're calmed down at this point, I want you to answer this question. How could that man go 24 rounds with you and only 2 with the heavyweight champion of the world?
Because George Foreman is not as good of a fighter scientific as I am, but I admit he's stronger and he hit harder. I'm not a hard puncher. I'm not known for being a hard puncher. I fought many men like Floyd Patterson, Zola Foley, George Fowler, who are stronger than I am. Many I couldn't knock out, Sonny Liston. But I'll tell you this, boxing ability, speed, whooping him on point for the distance if necessary. Then I'll whoop it.
Well, fighting in your home territory, you couldn't be any happier the way this is coming up in September.
Why would you call Africa my home territory?
You've been telling me that for 10 years.
That's right, and if you come over there talking like that, we'll cook you.
He's the one on point. Round 2, back out with the stick. Fingers, use the reach. Get there and quick. Pop, I can do that quickly here. He's more of That made rounds to be puffing. He'll be breathing. I'm a 7-8 round man. I'm used to going 12 rounds. I'm used to my thing dancing and sticking.
I'm not boasting, you all. Don't say I'm boasting or I'm a cocky fella. I'm just talking the truth. I know. Fighters know when fighters are in condition.
That's right.
Fighters know when fighters are in condition.
Right.
Il n'y a pas de combat lorsque le combattant n'est pas dans ses conditions.
The press knows when we are in condition.
That's right. Tell
Press
us.
knows.
Can't hit the butterfly.
Press knows.
Can't hit the butterfly.
I predict that whenever the fight is set, he might not show up.
Et je suis sûr qu'avant que le combat ne soit vrai, il va disparaître.
I just want all helicopters guarded, private boats, private jets entering this space. I want the airport. I'm serious. I want the president. I want all of you Zions to be on guard. Watch all strange boats slipping in. They might take him out. Watch the bus station. Watch everything. Watch the elephant caravans. He might sneak out the elephant. Watch everything. Please, Dick Sadler slick and Archie Moore's quick. Watch everything moving. Unidentified objects leaving Zaire. Please watch him closely.
Je voudrais que les Zaïrois soient plus près de...
The man won't out. The man won't out. Who will be declared by all as the greatest of all time. Right. Because the stage is set. I'm 32 years old. My legs are gone. This man is strong. You talk about how great he was, and now we're gonna see. Races are against him, the planets are against him, and already he lost the first 5 rounds.
Right.
Is that right?
That's
are we
right.
gonna dance?
Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Rubber, young man, rubber.
I want George Foreman for men and this man over here, Henry Clark, the number 6 contender, to go back and tell the man to be ready for a dance. Dance! Are we gonna dance?
Dance all night long.
Are we gonna dance?
All night long.
Are we gonna dance?
All night long.
Are we gonna
All
dance?
night long.
Yeah, let the man
We take the African
let the man talk.
I got a punch, Skid Gavilan show me called the Bolo Punch, which will name me the Ghetto Whopper. Right, do it, kid? Show me that, kid. George shows the right. See? We'll try it again. I got you. Now, we're going to name it the Ghetto Whopper. The reason it's called the Ghetto Whopper is because the reason that punch is called the Ghetto Whopper is because that punch is thrown in the ghetto at 3 o'clock in the morning. When I first started listening, hitting power didn't mean nothing because usually I fix the ones they can't find nothing to hit. So I never worry about hitting power. So a man like George that comes out with those big
Gonna float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. George can't hit what his eyes can't see. Now you see me, now you don't. You think you will, but I know you won't.
Very good.
This is gonna be a good fight. I wanna say that plan to make this my last fight, and I'm gonna shock the whole world. I think it's befitting that I go out of boxing like I came in 10 years from the day I beat Sonny Liston, destroying another Sonny Liston who idolized Sonny Liston. He jumps ropes like Sonny Liston. He walks around with a stern, sad face like Sonny Liston. He's awkward and slow, and he hits hard like Sonny Liston. And I think it's befitting that 1974 stage couldn't be set no better, that I retire this man just like I did Liston.
Stick it. Keep dancing and sticking. Sidestepping. Bouncing off the ropes. Dancing and sticking. Beat him all night. Tire him out by 7 rounds.
Right.
You're gonna be so game in 7 rounds.
Right.
Tire him out.
Bring him home.
Get my legs ready. I'll be dancing all night.
Right.
Dancing heavyweight of all time.
In. Right.
Fastest with the rope. The stage is set for me to be ranked as the greatest of all time. You know I ain't have no excuses after this. I got him cornered. I got the world cornered. Ain't no excuses. This is the hardest hitter since Marciano. This man is greater than Joe Louis. I've been reading what you're saying. Just because a black Muslim beat him, don't make him nothing now. He should have waited 3 more years. Maybe in 3 more years, I may have slowed down a little. But don't you believe that brainwash stuff. You've been watching me train, you watch me dance, and it looked better than I did 10 years ago.
Right.
Don't talk that stuff about my legs ago. I want to train 20 rounds today. They won't let me.
That's right.
They said I can't. I was 240 at one time. They say he's fat. Look at me now. Don't tell me that ain't a perfect specimen of a man. Look at that body. Slim, trim, and on my toes. Oh, I'm on my toes now. Oh, I'm on my toes. Stick it. George can't do that. George ain't got it. See, this man's big. See, this man jabbing to me. Just stick it out, hold it out. See, this is a big man. This man's difficult. George, you build it up like George is this size. George is small. I'm big as George, or bigger, faster. My reach is longer, my fist is bigger. Quit talking all this crazy talk. You'd have caused all these people losing their money. Talk about how big George Foreman is, how terrible. I'm scared for my life, how relentless he is. That sucker ain't nothing. Trump can't even fight. Wait till he come in here after me. Fight like a damn woman. Can't swing. Hit people and they're down. Sucker slow, ain't got no rhythm. Trying to dance. Dun, 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 dun. Let him go. I had to trick him into this fight. I had to make the world think my legs were gone. Then they signed. They said, well, if he was like Ali that fought Liston, he'd beat him. Jab him silly and dance all night, but he can't dance no more. Previous fight show where he stands in the corner. I did that on purpose, man. Can I dance? Is the Pope a Catholic? Is you colored? get him. What are we gonna do?
Float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Oh, rumble, young man, rumble.
Joe Frazier was puffy, so puffy, Ken Norton, both his eyes was almost closed. I beat him man to death. I'll bruise up George Foreman. If I don't knock him out, I'll cut him up. All around his face will be nicks and cuts. I'm so sharp, when I'm finished, they look like I had a razor blade. I'm so bad, you know what I've been doing? Last week I went out to the jungle. I wrestled with an alligator. I tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. I'm bad, man. You know what I did last week? Last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean I make medicine sick. I'm fast. You know how fast I am? Fella, I'm so fast last week, I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, I was in the bed before the room was dark.
I'm the one fighting George Foreman. You didn't believe in all that stuff you've been reading about how hard he hit George Foreman. Knocked down Joe Frazier. He destroyed the kid. When you get out here, if you're afraid, just smile. Just act like you're happy. I'm not gonna win the fight if I without thinking like you. Damn George Foreman.
Here comes the Ali people out of the dressing room, and all of the questions will be answered. This is an awesome bar of George Foreman against the violent boxing skills of Muhammad Ali. Here comes Ali. You can see him there very calm if you saw the interview. There's no question on my mind, and I don't think anybody else's mind here at ringside, about the tremendous confidence of this tremendous athlete. It's age against youth. The experience of Muhammad Ali against the youth and brute force on blinding speed. You can hear the band beginning to strike up in the background as Ali moves to the ring. This is what Muhammad Ali lives for. This is the man's life. This may be a historic event. Muhammad Ali coming into the boxing ring for the last time. Should Muhammad Ali retire, this will be, what you're seeing now, a very historic event. Should Ali win the title tonight, it definitely is an historic event, because he will have to definitely go down in the history of boxing as one of the all-time greats. His handler, Angelo Dundee, brings him in, and there you hear the sound of Ali Boumaier. That's what the local people say, and you can see Ali is getting a standing ovation from some 70,000, we estimate, in attendance here as he dances behind the American flag. Muhammad Ali will be gloved in the ring, as will George Foreman. How about it, Jimmy? Any thoughts on what it's like for an athlete to go into the field of battle?
Tremendous pressure, Bob, no doubt about it. But I think along with the pressure, there's a great feeling, because it's like once in a lifetime you can do something that's great that maybe no one else can ever do again.
One thing that's very important as we take a look across the ring at Muhammad Ali bouncing around is Dr. Ferdy Pacheco, a physician, a man that certainly has the ability to help the aging former champion Muhammad Ali should he get in trouble. And of course his handler, a man that's been with him all the way, Angelo Dundee. I have to give the corner strength to the Muhammad Ali group based on the just sheer fact that George Foreman was cut. There's a possibility that he could be cut against. Ali has lashing, cutting type punches. He's got tremendous speed in his hands, still has good speed of foot. Just how much speed in this humidity, we just don't know. Angelo Dundee looking around, and again I talk about that corner being important. Angelo spent this afternoon over here making sure the ropes were tight, making sure that there was enough rosin on the canvas here. And now we understand that George Foreman is about to make his way through the ring as Ali continues to dance and build up a little bit of a sweat and get ready for this big fight.
And right at the ringside there, I see right at the ringside, standing, watching everything fascinatedly over there, Joe Frazier, the former world champion, right there at the ringside like any other fan in this vast auditorium.
He says he wants the winner, too.
I think he's more than a fan in this case, David. I think that he definitely has his sights set on maybe a $5 million purse for Joe Frazier should he get the opportunity to meet the world heavyweight champion again.
A very understandable human ambition. We hope to be talking to Joe a little later on about the way he thinks the fight's going, if he can get over to our commentary position over on this side of the ring.
While we have the opportunity, we can give you an idea of the instructions that the fighters will be receiving. First off, this is a 19-foot ring. Muhammad Ali, of course, wanted the larger ring for his dancing, wanted a 20-foot ring, but the Everlast company had to come through and create this new 19-foot ring. The Foreman camp wanted an 18-foot ring, understandably, so they could cut out Ali in the corners. The scoring of this fight will be the 10-point must system. The 3-knockdown rule is waived. The count will continue after the bell in every round, with the exception, of course, of the 15th round, which ends the fight. They're using 8-ounce championship gloves. As we mentioned, both fighters will be gloved in the ring. They had their hands taped in their respective locker rooms, and the taping was watched by boxing officials from the African Boxing Union and from the World Boxing Council, and a member of the opposing corner. You hear a tremendous roar. We don't see him yet, but we can only assume that George Foreman is on his way out here. We still don't see any indication of George Foreman.
Is there any protocol on this sort of thing?
Bob, those cheers of Ali and his movements in the ring, you know, he's putting on his show and the people love it.
Is there any protocol about this sort of thing? How long can a champion keep a challenger waiting? Is it gamesmanship? Is he trying to tire him before the fight starts? How long could a champion keep him waiting?
I don't know what the exact rule is on that, or if in fact there is, but you would think that somebody who is in the locker room with the World Boxing Council will have him out here. This does play a very definite psychological effect. Football coaches, Jim Brown, sometimes would like to keep their football team in, so the other team that comes out really keyed up can kind of cool down a little bit before the ball game starts. Could be the same thing tonight.
Of course, because you keep looking over your shoulder. You don't know how long it's going to be, and it puts extra pressure on you.
We mentioned that this fight is under the sanction of the World Boxing Council and the African Boxing Union. The officials, the judges will be Adala from Turkey and James Taylor from the United States. We have no last name for Adala. We'll just assume he's Adala. And the referee will be Zach Clayton. And Zach Clayton is actually a veteran of the ring. Zach Clayton refereed the second Walcott-Lewis fight, as some of you may recall, in Yankee Stadium. He's been kind of inactive as far as refereeing goes in recent years. He is a former Harlem Globetrotter, proving beyond any reasonable shadow of a doubt he's a fine athlete. He's also the chairman of the Pennsylvania State Boxing Commission. There's Joe Frazier, looking intent. Muhammad Ali continues to dance around, getting himself warmed up a little bit. I bet you that Ali does not like this waiting, nor does Angelo Dundee. That's Drew Bundini Brown, who is the character of sorts from the Ali camp.
Well, I think George has been doing a lot of this in the last couple of weeks. You know, he's been really trying to psych Ali out, and I think tonight he's overdoing it a little bit. I'm assuming that he's really trying to psych him out.
Well, I don't understand.
It's a really interesting point, this, which way it will work, actually, isn't it? Because there will become a point where Muhammad Ali may get worried, and then there will become another point where he may get furious. We may see a more angry Muhammad Ali than we've ever seen before. You never know how these ploys work.
There's the famous feat. $5 million on the hoof, we'll call it, for tonight.
Or maybe George Foreman is just not coming.
Or maybe that's a thought that I didn't think of.
You know, a very good point, though. In the last week, I think most of the writers have changed their mind about Foreman being the overwhelming favorite.
I think they have.
Did you catch that glance there and the intenseness of the eye of Muhammad Ali as he looked towards the outside, looking for George Foreman? Shadow boxing around for 60 seconds to 2 minutes to 3 minutes does no good for a man 32 years old when he's fighting a man that is a few years younger.
Foreman's jerking his
Wow,
off.
that's not true.
Right?
It only loosens up the muscles.
Yes, there's no danger of pulled muscle now. But we are starting to reach the point where George Foreman is
Foreman's not jerking us off.
Ali, you can see.
overstaying his non-welcome.
David, excuse me, Ali, you can see has a tremendous sweat already built up, which is another indication of the humidity that we've talked about, and we'll keep mentioning that.
Well, you know I
Thank
love
you,
you, Joe.
Look at this now as they stare. Muhammad Ali beginning to talk to George Foreman. They're really putting the stare on each other. George Foreman has that serious look. Ali definitely talking to him. Look at the stare on George Foreman. Look at Ali give him the word. So the stage is set. We're just about ready to begin. Round one, the heavyweight championship of the world at stake. There can be no more pure form of sport than a heavyweight championship fight when two individuals, finely tuned athletes, climb into the ring. This time, the championship is at stake, and $5 million will be paid to both fighters. Ali ready, Foreman ready. We're waiting for the opening bell. His handler, Angelo Dundee, brings him in. And there you hear the sound of Ali Boumaier. The enthusiasm begins to mount here. One thing we want to look out for is just how fast this man, George Foreman, will open. As we mentioned, in his past several fights, he hasn't gone in the past 4 years beyond 2 rounds in any fight. Can Ali dance and stay away from him? Is George Foreman's thundering punches going to be too much for him? Is the left hook that is so devastating, the tremendous left hook, going to stop Ali? Here we go, Ali quickly across the round. In the first round, looking to drop that left hook. Man to the far corner. There's that left uppercut jab to the body of Muhammad Ali. Dances now. Moves Ali with a right hand lead again. He lashes out with a light left. A straight right hand. Forehead of George Foreman. Foreman on the left. A wild left hand thrown by George Foreman. Taken on the front of the head of Ali. The pace is tremendous for round one. George Foreman with his face for you. Ali to the left. Ali tries to time up. He's leaning on Foreman. Foreman with a vicious uppercut. Misses. Plate separates him. Wild left hand. Vicious hook. There's a real strong right hand just underneath the heart. And Muhammad Ali is taking some punishment now. About 25 seconds left in the round. Ali, face left, goes to straight right hand. That right hand lead has George Foreman slightly confused, but a straight left jab thrown by Foreman has Ali in the corner. Ali dances back, hangs on. What a tremendous pace in round number one. Ali is definitely headhunting with his right hand lead. A good right hand taken on the left side of the jaw by Muhammad Ali. Oh, a great left hand, an over and under combination. Left hand and then the right on the jaw, taken by the champion George Foreman. There's the left hand in the eye of Foreman. Ali's scoring some punches here. These punches are not hurting him that he's taking on the side of the head. 30 seconds left in round two. Look at Ali, continues to talk. Definitely serious. Tremendous combination by Muhammad Ali. 10 seconds left now in round three. Ali showing his combination. The hand speed, left combination to the head of Foreman. Foreman again takes the right hand. Right on the left side of the head. The bell ends round three. Ali super confident. Foreman looks unusually slow with his hands. Look at this now. All of a sudden he opens up. Foreman looking for the opportunity. Has a tremendous look of determination. Staggered! Foreman staggered! Definitely! Right on the button! Right on the jaw of George Foreman. Zach Clayton, the referee, separates the two fighters. There's a vicious left. No real serious damage done. Ali is getting his hand up. The wild left by the jaw of Ali. Doesn't seem to bother Ali as Ali stands on his toes, works downstairs, goes downstairs. Good left hook by Ali. Good left hook by Foreman. Ali on the right. Ali leans up against the rope. Right hand taken on the gloves by Ali. There's a real wild right hand taking the back of the head of Ali. Foreman with a wild right again. Ali looks like he's trying to rest in this round. Punches are not doing any damage though. Vicious right thrown to the body of Ali. Wild right misses the head of Ali. The left taken on the glove of Ali. The right glove. George Foreman round all the way. Ali, this is a closing round for him. Foreman wailing away. Chris left the combination by Ali. Lands in the head of Foreman. Foreman with that right. Ali throwing a good pass. Backs up Foreman. Backs him up in his track. Foreman stagger. Foreman tries to look. Ali throws to the right. Foreman gets back to the left. Foreman hit again. Foreman has been hit 3 or 4 times. This is a wild left hand. Ali throwing the best straight. There's the ball. Ending round 5. By far the best round of the back. Clayton separates the two fighters. Ali goes head hunting again. Oh, great left hand taken on the face of George Foreman. Ali scored 3 in a row that time. Foreman's right eye looking to be closed. Ali has tremendous look of confidence on that face. These punches are landing, bouncing off the eye of the heavyweight champion of the world, George Foreman. Foreman has his work cut out for him. And via satellite, a video technique presentation worldwide. Ali working to the head of George Foreman. Ali scores again with a light left hand. That time a straight left bounces the head back of Foreman. A quick short jab with the right hand bounces the head around of Foreman. Foreman looking to deliver the real heavy blows. Now he's bouncing better. Almost pulls out of the ring. Very even fight. Ali, a sneaky right hand. Another sneaky right hand. This time he works over the shoulder of Foreman. It's a combination.
Couldn't get up. Get him with right hand, couldn't get up. He ain't never been out. I kept talking to him during the fight, too.
Muhammad, congratulations.
Am I the greatest of all time?
Muhammad, you told me in Deer Lake you were the greatest of all time, and I think everybody out there watching now will say that you proved it to
man who was bearing me up, too powerful, too strong. I proved that Allah is God. Elijah Muhammad is a messenger, and I have faith in them, and regardless of the world and the pressure, I made it an easy night because Allah has power over all things. If you believe in him, nothing, even George Foreman, will look like a baby. It wasn't a close fight, was it?
It wasn't a close fight.
No. Was it close before I knocked him out? No. You stop. Wait. Is this on first? You is it live right now? Everybody stop talking now. Attention. I told you, all of my critics, I told you all that I was the greatest of all time. Please come to listen. I told you today, I'm still the greatest of all time. Never again defeat me. Never again say that I'm going to be defeated. Never again make me the underdog until I'm about 50 years old. Then you might get me. But I didn't dance. I didn't dance for a reason. I wanted to make him lose all his power. I kept telling him he had no punch. He couldn't hit. He's swinging like a sissy. He's missing. Let me see your box. I hadn't started dancing yet. You can't say my legs are gone. You can't say I was tired because what happened? I didn't dance from the second round on. I stayed on the ropes. When I stay on the ropes, you think I'm doing bad. But I want all boxers to put this in the page of boxing. Staying on the ropes is a beautiful thing with a heavyweight when you make him shoot his best shot and you know he's not hitting you. I would have gave George Foreman 2 rounds of steady punching because after that he was mine. But he was falling, he was missing. I don't know if I'm going to fight again or not. I'm going to retire now. I have to talk to my leader, the most honorable.
Are you still planning to retire?
Assalamu alaikum to all the Muslims. Thanks to Almighty God Allah. I want all of you fans out there who believe in me, read the Muhammad Speaks newspaper, go to your local Muslim temple and learn more about the life-giving power from Allah through Elijah Muhammad that I've got.
You saw all the white people, the critics, the world had me ranked to go down. This was that man, and Allah, God was with me, and this man looked like nothing. I want you to remember that. Want to know where I get the power? Visit your local Muslim mosque. Read that Muhammad Speaks newspaper. Take it from me.
That just proves you can have commercials on closed-circuit television just as you can have it on real television. Muhammad, what did you say to George?
It's not a commercial telling people to believe in God.
Tell me, what did you say to George Foreman before the fight? What did you say?
I told him he has no power in the corners and in the clinches. I said, shoot your best shot. I'm going back to the ropes. They told me he was strong. Didn't I look stronger than him?
Why didn't, tell me, Mohammed, this is the thing that puzzled people. Why was it when you were on the ropes that he could not hurt you, even when you were right there on the ropes?
Blocking, and I was pulling back, and I have a radar built inside me. I know how to judge punches. Didn't I tell all of you out there on your local radio shows, mostly black stations? I told you, I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. So that's what happened.
That's what you said to me. But tell me now, are you really going to retire, Mohammed?
I'm seriously thinking about retiring. There's nothing else for me to fight. I told her, well, I'm going to retire. I'm going to hold the title for a few months. They took my title unjustly. I told you, I'm the real champion. I told you, I'm the champion of the world. All of it fall. All of my critics fall. All of you suckers who write the Ring magazine. Boxing Hill says, all of you suckers bow because the stage was set. You made him great. You made him a bad Joe. You made him a hard puncher. But I want everybody from this moment on to recognize me as the scholar of boxing. If you want to know any damn thing about boxing, don't go to no boxing experts in Las Vegas. Don't go to no Jimmy the Greek. Come to Muhammad Ali. I am the man.
One last question, Muhammad.
Hello, my man, Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner out there.
Muhammad, one last question. Tell me, would you say that this at this moment, is this the happiest moment of your life?
No. Happiest moment of my life when I met Elijah Muhammad, the freedom speaker of black people. But I want to say this. Hello to all my friends in Louisville, Kentucky. Joe Martin, Fred Stoner, all of my friends in Louisville, Kentucky, where I started. I'm recognized all over the world now, but my greatness came and started in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's one of the greatest cities in America, Louisville, Kentucky. And I predict that Louisville, Kentucky will have another world champion. Because Louisville is the greatest.